Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas. An absolute heartbreaker in map number 1 for our EG fans who let that one feel like they slip away. On the other side for Furia, maybe a little too close for comfort while still happy to come away with that W there, Sean.
I'm still thinking about that DG ace, where he popped knives and updrafted mid over the smoke, takes out 2, rotates cat, gets 3 more. That's insane.
Yeah.
He goes 3 and 12 first half and ended.
It's like 30 minutes ago, and Sean is still just stuck in that moment. I love it.
Dude, but I thought EG could have closed out this game. I was so proud of the things that they did throughout the game. That 3-on-5 that were comp peeks off cat, and the 2 players get caught rotating out of B. That was when Furia just took over the game.
It was a tragedy. EG, this to me felt like the best map we've seen them play in Americas thus far. They fixed so many of the issues. The mid-rounding on the attacking side looked competent. Their side execs were so much better in terms of the way it was put together. They looked so much more coordinated. So many of the improvements we've been asking for from EG came out in this one. They still had some of the little gimmicks that worked, but Furia is just so good that despite showing those issues, at the end of the game, their adaptations were fantastic. And just individual pop-offs to close that out.
Yeah, nobody thought this one was going to overtime, let alone multiple overtimes there on Ascent, one of Furia's best maps. And while they were absolutely tested and pushed to the limit, they come away with the victory. And we got to talk about a few individuals who are key to that. First and foremost, MW Zera. In particular for me, actually, his first half. Maybe he cooled down a little bit on the back half of the map, but in general, kept them in it from the beginning.
So I agree, he did keep them in it in the beginning, but also I think he had a lot of very impactful defensive kills on the B hits. Darts hitting the wall, he had the Odin spam coming in like this right here. He was just being such a nuisance on these B hits and would always take out 1 while remaining alive in defender spawn.
What we've seen from MW in this map felt like we were starting to get a resurgence of the MWs there that we were getting at lock-in, because he was an absolute beast at that event. Him and Digizin were incredible for this team, but thus far in Americas, he's been struggling a little bit more. But in this one, we saw that form where he is playing his comfort role on this initiator and absolutely popping off for Furia. But that's kind of what was somewhat interesting to me about this map. When normally I'm watching Furia, I'm looking at the consistency. They're trading, especially on that defensive side. In previous games on Ascent, it was very much about how well can their site anchors succeed. Can Khalil or MW kill 1 million people while the hit is coming in? But this one was very much about fighting for their life in the retakes.
Yeah.
EG really pushed them.
Yeah, and they actually said it on the cast. At one point, the first bloods were like 5-14 in favor of Furia.
Disgusting.
And the game was in OT. Like, EG put up such a good fight in those early rounds, trading out the early frags that all seemed to go Furia's way. But the late rounds, Furia's just gods at those retakes.
And the late part of the game as well, some of the ideas that this team was coming up with were great. We were kind of harping on Digizin at the halftime. He was struggling, but in the second half, he and Mazin really stepped up with these mid-round pushes. This is that ace that you were talking about from this guy.
Oh, great. Sean's not going to be able to stop thinking about it for another 30 minutes now. We just re-imprinted it into his brain. It's actually disgusting that he got away with that. I also love that triple kill up B main push from Azine. Let's not forget, too, in OT from Logs, that 1v2 that he pulled off as well to bring this game in. I mean, oh, God, everyone stepped up in a big way on Furia, which is what makes it so incredible, I think, that EG pushed him. Again, we're sitting here in an EG loss saying maybe that's the best Valorant we've seen them play.
It's easy to just, pile on EG after another loss, but I agree with Mimi. This was different than the other EG losses. They've had a structured game plan. They had such good executes. Their T side, their attack side, Boostio's lurking so well. Everything was going so well for them against such a formidable opponent. I think this is a positive for EG long term. I
agree. And we have to give flowers to Boostio, because this guy, as the IGL of this team, has been receiving so much criticism through the first few weeks about the mid-rounding, about EG's decision-making, the game plans, because thus far it hasn't really worked. But in this map, we saw it clicking. He was playing fantastically individually, holding down B main on the attacking side, punishing those repushes that Digizin kept attempting, and making some solid decisions within the mid-round for this team. You could see how vocal he was, talking his team through these rounds, keeping everyone calm. His performance was critical for EG to play the level of Valorant that we just saw from them.
So here's the thing, though, right? We can all celebrate beautiful Valorant being played by evil geniuses, but as you reminded me top of day, that the only thing that matters is getting the win in the end, right? You know, no matter how close the round score or the round differential is, you still need to get the W's, and unfortunately for EG, they fall just short. So they've got to kind of refocus and re-gear their mental towards map number 2. And speaking of re-gearing your mental, we'll dive into our aim lab shoot-around where we're checking in on QCK, actually, for the side of Furia and how he warms up for it all. But I want to focus on the EG side of things while we take a look at QCK ripping these blue dots to pieces in the aim lab shoot around about, like, yeah, what is the approach? How much more can you unlock from EG, you know, like from what you just saw in map 1?
This game is going to be so hard because, well, I think the game plan is super good on Fracture for evil geniuses. They run this Sova breach comp with the Raze in the mix. They have some nice little coordinated plays. They have those gimmicks, those one-off set plays, but they also had solid decision-making in their mid-rounds. They won a dominant game versus Crew. But Furia, we have not seen them play in this current iteration on Fracture whatsoever, and he just 2 VODs out there of this map.
Yeah, it's actually kind of astonishing that this Furia team doesn't play Fracture. They have some heavy-hitting riflers on this team that are very good in high-pressure, you know, high-intense moments, and that's what I think of when I think of Fracture. So can EG, you know, make them feel disjointed with this Sova play? Particularly, I think the Sova is so unique on Fracture because if a drone is coming your way A main and you get pinged by it, there's not many places to hide from on Fracture.
Yeah, just to put some numbers to this conversation around Furia on Fracture. Since 2021, they've only played the map a total of 6 times. They scored a 5-1 record. However, the most recent time they played it was all the way back in August of 2022. So while they did get the dub there, again, there's just not enough experience on the map more recently.
That's ancient history. What are they going to play now, though?
Exactly.
It's no longer a chamber meta. Well, Digizin rocking the Raze? Do they go for a neon composition? They already lock in the Killjoy. You expect that in any comp. But I think the duelist pick for DG will give us an idea of what direction they want to take with this map, and it is the neon. A lot of Brazilian teams have really liked this, and Furious ran a fair bit of neon in the past.
Yeah, and when you see DG step off of the jet, it's typically towards the neon. We saw it actually earlier this split on Pearl, and he kind of had a lot of very interesting ideas and takes on how to play the map. Turns out it was a counter comp. I doubt that's what this is, though. This is actually very interesting. I can't wait to see the pace at which this Fury team is going to play with a neon.
I'm very excited for it. When we've seen them play on the neon comps before, we watched it at Lock-In versus T1. They were playing on Pearl. They had really good fast reactions to reflank with this neon and also to kind of give space and go for flood repicks as well as those reflanks with MW's utility and DG running in. I would expect them to have similar ideas built around him here. And to talk about the side of evil geniuses, they're going back to what we expected with them, the Sova comp.
Yeah, and if you look, you think about how this is going to play out. There's the neon, right? It's going to put up the wall. The optic, you know, the old school optic B exec is available to them. And the reason why you don't see that a lot right now in this meta is because you're starting to see more ciphers picked on Fracture. And when you see neons, oftentimes the other comp will have a pocket Fracture going against the neon. There's nothing really stopping DG on some of these site hits.
There's also going to be a lot of potential on this defensive side to take space, looking for these north side crunches, south side crunches, Furia being proactive to take space. The pressure's going to be on EG's mid-rounding to contend with that aggression of the neon.
All right, so continued focus on evil geniuses trying to get it done in the mid-round. Adapt to what they see out of their opponents because you have so little info about what they're going to bring to the stage here today. Let's find out if this series can go the distance, though, and all the way to a map 3 as we send it back to Doug and Bala for the cast.
Thank you so much, Chesh. Yeah, I think composition is a key part of the conversation, right? We talk about the Sova on Fracture. We talk about the fact that Demon 1 is not on the Duelist and he swaps over to the Brim in the face of the go button for DG on the Neon.
Yeah, he was really good last week when they got their first win against Crew in the final decider map. But this is a whole new flavor, and I think the conversation that Mimi and Sean were trying to start on the desk about how this Furia composition is halted or stopped a little bit. It's by normally the Sentinel play against them. So we're looking right now at Digizin, and look at the setup that they already have ready to rush down that south side through tree with the stun coming in from Mazin. And they're all on this south side right now. EG might end up getting pressured really early.
Yeah, I think it was Mimi who said on the desk she wanted to see how fast they wanted to go with the Neon, and that should tell you everything. Already aggressively taking space into spawn.
They're pinched and they need to push potentially even into the defensive spawn.
EG have taken A, but the question is now, where do they go? Do they continue to scale out into spawn? Do they just take their post plants? Seems like they are going to get the spike down, and Busio early on the peak.
They repositioned to plant for spawn right now, but they haven't quite taken that far yet, so...
That's big. Bigger up from Blue G, though, as he trades out Busio.
Holding the spawn is critical.
Comp's in a great spot, though. He hasn't been spotted, and the shots go everywhere except their intended target.
Last player standing.
What?
This is trouble. Whew. Clean up from Ethan, but trouble nonetheless. Furia take the pistol.
I think it's actually incredibly important that Furia is starting on this defensive side because, like we talk about that Sentinel slowing down the Neon and why that's kind of fallen out of favor in the meta. There's not really a way to do that against a defense. Normally those Sentinel setups are going to be set up, you know, watching the flank on attack, but you could still get a lot of speed. And even when the retakes come through, you're using those nanos for post plant in a sense. So Furia have an opportunity to really potentially run away with it if EG's not careful. And by the way, too, remember that conversation we kept saying about how Fracture is a good pick for EG because they still have a gimmick in the Sova? But they've just got gimmicked back.
Their layers stay stuck, man. Gimmicks upon gimmicks. This time, nothing from Furia. No fast take. It's a bit delayed, but they are denying space. Look at how they're pushing up on the northern side of B early.
And Furia as well. You see, incredibly ready to break that dart coming in from Calm as well. So they don't really get the information that the site is clear, which is a lot of times the negative info darts, which you're looking for as Sova on this map.
This is really nice from Furia. I mean, you've got the Killjoy set up on Dish, so you know they haven't crept up that far. They just used a Prowler by where DG's standing right now. He was ready to pounce and strike on that.
Yeah, the amount of info they're getting from all their utility being flexed around the map. And they just haunted down in tree too, so they're quite aware of what's happening. I'm surprised to see Mausen get aggressive there, given that info. They've just lost the sight.
Bustio's a bad dude, man. He's gotten 2 with the Sheriff already.
Not farming the orb there is really curious.
But look at how that already draws Furia over. They're just leaving DG on B.
Might give them enough time, though, to get something going through Arcade.
Gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go fast. While Fury's starting to rotate over as well, they know it's not an A hit. So they're gonna be running over. EG have gotten the site. They should be able to get the spike down. Jogamo did pick up a Spectre. And it's just EG on the other side. The swing's there and the kill's there for Jog as well.
They spotted both of them, too, on the other pass.
Molly.
They've just lost this anti-eco.
No gimmick, just Bustio being better.
Let him on the site, but there's some post plant still. The molly in for Demon 1. Nade from Jogamo.
Last player standing.
Getting a little uncomfortable here. But Bustio gets 4.
That is disgusting from him. Taking advantage of definitely the overstepping from Furia right there. I'm shocked. We were just talking about how they were flexing their util, how the KJ had a setup on drop, how he also had a turret inside of halls. They could have just sat still and gotten mad information in like 2 seconds. And look at Bustio's reaction too. Well, that was loud. Sorry.
Man just fired up.
And it's funny because I was looking at him on stage before this game and he looked angry.
He looked cold, man.
He looked like he was getting ready to do something bad.
It took round 2, but he did. They were able to pick up a couple of weapons too. Look at Ethan Spectre, look at Bustio Spectre. So not only do they hurt Fury's economy, but they're able to preserve some of the weapons that they had purchased.
Remember in the last round I said, they're not going for that orb.
Smoke.
You know Bustio's call immediately was centered around winning the round. Good stun.
Yeah, GG Salt early finds nothing, a little bit of damage. Swings around, finally does get a kill, but it's traded back.
Spike down B.
Fury G, you just want to get out of this cleanly.
Now they've kind of pinched them in, but because of that, Jogamo and Bustio have just walked up. No way you're ready for that as QCK. He was looking for it, but 2 people swinging him, no way.
There's another confident swing out from Bustio,
They
too.
haven't cleared out Khalil here, though. And look at this, they're not even pushing up into tower. They're happy with the space they've gotten in generator.
They just want to play from spawn. Yeah, push from Zine back and then play from spawn, I guess, around Jenny.
Comms drone coming back in through canteen. I mean,
Spotted him.
they've moved in.
It's just so uncommon to see a Sova on Fracture.
EG's made it common. This last 3
Yeah.
weeks, we've seen it quite a bit.
Standing.
MW with just 1. I think he accidented Demon 1 there.
Spike's gonna tick away. Khalil's gonna die to it. And we will move on to the next round with EG having a lead, an early one. 3 rifles carried. Comm and Jogama both took no damage, so they don't have to buy armor or anything like that. This is set up quite nicely for EG.
Look at the economy for Boostio. Remember those 4 kills in the eco round that they won. He's able to drop a gun, but they're now at 4 players with 3.5K. That is ridiculous off of the 4th round. And Digizen's going for an op here. We've seen some successful Neon ops in recent times. But this one on Fracture, he's going out towards drop and already is spotted. Already gives up the fact that it's coming.
You see that Haunt confirming. There was more than one there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's hungry. Look at that. Taking a challenge early in the round as the Killjoy is something that you see from IGLs when you know, when you know they're confident.
Right here.
When you know they're super happy to call in the mid round and look for the gaps that he's been given so far.
Ethan now with Rolling Thunder. Is there another orb that they can grab for Boostio? Well, never mind. He's dead.
Beacon down.
Just kidding.
And they've left a massive gap there that Khalil and QCK have explored. I was not expecting that. Through Arcade down into Underpass, and that's Boostio gone. He was 1 off the KJ ult. He was about to pop that, so really good from Furia to be proactive about stopping the Underpass ult.
Oh, dear. I thought MW was just a little bit behind.
He's by himself.
That's the Rolling Thunder, and it's going to hit 2. And you see the play. You see Jogamo on the aggression. They get all the info. DG's a dead man walking. Playing on the other side of the wall. Nothing but a classic, and he gets a kill on a Jogamo. What?
Op out.
Equalized, stabilized by Ethan. But it's still a 2v2. He's weak. Zine waiting for the push, and Ethan's there to greet. A clean flick.
Spike planted.
And QCK with that door open has to be worried about Sand now too.
He's separated. He's dropped.
That is such a good ult from Ethan. I didn't see how close Jogamo was up and dropped there. And he double satchels behind the players pushed up in halls. Digis in. That was a good, I mean, so many counter calls on that. Tough to get to in the 10 seconds before this round, but Digis in, because the op that he had at drop was really, really obviously that he was going to go back in the halls after they got neutered up by drop. And then with the push coming out as well from Mazin.
Life fight for Furia. Economy broken once again. 2 Buckies. And once again, aggression. QCK is one of the Buckies. And they are not going to check him at all. Fortunately, just the Bucky on the other side. I don't know how Boostio was the one who got that kill with the op up close, but all good. Lockdown now used, but they're feeling some of the pressure. Another kill going for Boostio. And he's just taking over the game. He was exceptional on Ascent. Getting the best of DG over and over. And he just wants to continue here. Comm joining in on the fun as well.
I think you need to be asking for a timeout here if you're Furia right after this. Given how some of these situations have gotten out of hand, even though they've actually had the advantage, EG is making great work on this map of finding those early picks. Again, just making the read after that aggression comes out on B. To just push up, find QCK who only has a Bucky. Oh, God.
Oh no. Comm, you gotta check your corners, my guy.
It's fine. The round is over. Stress gone.
Come here.
But Mazin has a chance to walk away with a gun, and Boostio does not let him.
They have plenty of money. And you saw Demon 1 was on the flank as well to try to help pressure some of that. But either way, EG up 3. You've got the ult on line for Jogamo as well.
Lucio has the look of an IGL who is trying to take over the game right now, and I think his calls are also reflective of that. Always looking at these IGL performances. And in the past, too, for the CG squad, not this current iteration, but last year's, Boostio was the guy who would take over games, playing the Jet, playing the Chamber. I think we're in for a performance like that. He's already at 9-2. But he's playing KJ on attack side. Need to find more gaps. Furia call the timeout that we were asking for. And I'm seeing stubbornness from Digizin here, in the sense that he's gone for this Neon op twice now so far. He's got it again.
It's an expensive gun.
And he's got no shield for it, and he's not really being able to take advantage of any of that movement that we were talking about. We wanted to see a lot of those pinches, but all we've seen so far is Southside pressure. And remember, in a sense, yeah, that guy ended up having a really good game, but the tail end of that attack side, or of the overtimes, he was just running into sight, trying to do it all on his own. He swapped off the op, though.
He heard you. But it does look like he wants to go. No, I thought he was going to want to go fast-ish, but he's patient on it.
He's challenging Boostio again, which is the interesting part. Remember how Boostio went so good against him in the second half of Ascent.
I thought we might get the rematch, but it's actually Demon 1 who's crept up close.
And that's your solo smoker, too. Do not want him to be dying first.
Not on attack, that's for sure. They decide to rotate it away, and Fury has seen something or felt something, perhaps in the timing, that leads them to invest towards drop. And I think they were going to want to go aggressively for DG off of Mazine's utility. Or perhaps just get him the orb, because I don't think it was farmed. They go fast. The showstopper used from Jogamo. You see the Nightfall as a response. And that deafens everything. Mazine has his ult online, and there is going to be a trap from the northern side of the map. Jogamo drops. GCK on the swing, not able to find anything. There's the swing out, and Boostio drops him. Rolling Thunder now hitting everyone, but is it too late? Is it too late? Mazine and Khalil with so much to do. They've gotten it to a 2v2 as well, and that's going to be a problem. The Hunter's Fury, or excuse me, the Orbital Strike, gets things down to a 1v1. Khalil pushing forward. Ethan left in a clutch spot. Spots 170 HP.
Smokes down.
The flash, the swing, it's just a challenge. It's just a dare. Ethan swings outside of it. Khalil's stunned, but he can't peek out of smoke quite yet, but the flick is disgusting.
He knew he had to be out of tower there with that molly, with the dink that he saw. So Khalil coming up huge there. So many ults countered there, but a number of mistakes on both sides, I think. EG wanted to go for the spawn plant again. You saw how the attack smokes were actually allowing the players to play backside. Let's look at this 1v1 again between Khalil and Ethan. Remember Ethan, the 1v2 that he had on Ascent to bring him to overtime was cold. Finally, somebody from Furia as well showing up in the clutch.
There.
Couple of ults still in line for EG.
Take flight.
DG's here with the op, and I don't think he's gonna get spotted here. Oh, the gun barrel, bro.
He's
It's
getting
too
ulted.
long. It's too long.
How is he
dead?
What? He's Neon. How does he not get away from that? Those are dry ults. Gets caught sleeping.
Well done by Com as well. Good timing on the swing, but QCK getting one.
Spike down, attacker spawn.
First of the half, if I'm not mistaken, for him. Finally getting online. MW feeling a lot of pressure, overwhelmed, and outdone.
Look at Boostio. I mean, he's wrapped up the round just by his position alone. How often are they getting up into spawn here? This is ridiculous.
They're running a clinic on rotating around this
Player
map.
standing.
Bot coming back.
And something the desk touched on very briefly. Dash said it was only 8 maps of Fracture in 2022 for Furia. And while this is definitely a new iteration of Furia, a lot of the core is still there. And so you might see why this is so little played. And this was a big question. After the rise of Furia at the beginning of this league, a lot of people were asking, okay, is their map pool actually as deep as we think? And I was speculating that it might be, given the fact that they were innovating on so many maps. The Harbor Viper on Haven.
He's just trying to keep the op here, man. That's all he wants to do.
Too late.
Just narrowly missing the timing was calm.
Spike, are you gonna blow up?
It's taking its sweet time, isn't it?
I feel like we've been in this round forever.
That's big.
Low-key, I'm starting to think that Furia might actually want that. Digizen's not finding any value with that op.
A blessing in disguise, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keeping that thing. I remember the last round that they won was when he actually had room to go aggressive. I think he went way ahead of the actual ult that came out from Mazina in that round that I'm talking about. But having the op tethers you, excuse me, to
You got there.
go way too slowly, to go way too passive. And in a lot of cases, they're trying to put him alone, where you need to be comboing with this Neon.
Pistols for Furia. No ult, right? You were just mentioning how DG found success on being able to aggressively take space previously. Just the Sheriff this time. Not really having the same amount of tools. And you can see the setup here for EG. They've got Ethan, who has a spike 1 point away from having the Rolling Thunder. Gets it down, and then they can fight close plants aggressively. Scale up with it.
Recalling my bot. Here.
One of the first times we have a regular post plan here. No plant for spawn, nothing like that. But again, this breach ult coming up. Stun for him to maybe cross and join the rest of the post planners.
Question here, how patiently EG want to go about this? Do they go aggressive?
I think for Furia, do they go aggressive, right? Are they looking for exits here? Nobody's moving at all.
Smoke forcing Ethan reposition. Lucio the first to follow Joggermon, a nice trade. And they're gonna funnel Ethan. They're gonna try to flood over him, and they do. They succeed. There's a tap there, and I thought for a moment he wouldn't be able to hear it, but Joggermon's positioning is just flawless. It's beautiful. And it's another kill. 4 on the round for him.
Anyone
And
have
Furia,
any spades? I may
surprisingly,
have jammed my fingers.
that's the first time they've actually sprung the post plant from EG. In terms of the mollies, in terms of the shocks. The molly actually missed there.
One enemy remaining.
But when it comes to these retakes, they're gonna have to start upping the pace, because you can see how much there is in just that brief 5-second replay. We saw a shock dart, we saw a molly, we saw aftershock, we saw the nade from Giacomo. Every single player on this team has some sort of post plant. And it's a scary situation when Fury is not able to really even get to that point in the round.
Off your feet!
The Rolling Thunder that we didn't see in the previous round. This time set up. Remember last time we saw is Joggermo double satcheled across to get the pinch and hold. This time he cannot exit. DG, so patient. Tom getting some info with his drone. And now EG have plenty of time, and they have a couple of options. Do they choose to stay?
I mean, with Boostio's position so advanced, definitely looking for a pick there.
Oh, they're patient about this one. They're careful about it. And so far,
Sorry, kid.
not nearly as apologetic as that sounded. But a good trade there, 3v3. Spike's still not out. MW's just surrounded, but he has Mazine for help. Yeah, there it is. You see the crossfire set up for Furia. It looked like MW was uncomfortable, but he's got help. I don't know how Calm hasn't died. That's crazy. So delicately dancing through that setup.
And Ethan as well, dominating through that door. It's over and over. He's just opening it and taking the one player who's trying to hold on to Sands down. And I think in this 2v2 situation, there's the coach of Furia, or GM of Furia.
I'm tethered, bro.
Reacting. And that's what I'm saying. The tether there coming out from MW so late when QCK as well was so passive in the approach when MW needed help. Where was that help?
Imagine that's exactly what Frost was asking. Either way, EG up 5.
Take flight.
Dude, and I love how EG have set up their not just their financial economy, but their ult economy as well. We were just talking about the Rolling Thunder. Now they have the Showstopper, 2 points away from 2 more ults out of Common Boostio. Like they've perfectly set this up to where it just continues to snowball. There's not one big hit with 3 or 4 key ultimates. There are layers to this, and it's just gonna continue to hurt.
Another close approach here from Furia. Much closer than previously, so Boostio might be in trouble. They're going for that same trap inside of halls.
This time Boostio stays in A to clear that out, and MW, what a hold.
They still got the site though. But so many key ults. Digizin with his Neon Overdrive is active now too.
Giacomo's gonna be the first on the challenge. Well handled by him. Furia is still with numbers.
Do they expect QCK again? He's making noise.
You're too loud, my guy.
Well, this is actually a great ult. They can't push this in any sense. And that's going to give and force them to go back to site right now.
But you wonder at what point MW takes the space, right? I think it's just all about timing.
Yeah, they should have been quick on this.
They must have been much quicker. They should have been so much quicker on this. Even if Ethan doesn't get these kills, I think time is short.
You're right.
Does he have it? Oh, I think he does, just by a little bit. It's going to be really close, though.
He's got it.
Oh, my gosh. 0.32.
I only bring a ruler next time.
Wow. I mean, so close. But again, another thrifty. Something that was actually rearing itself on ascent was Fury, who, before the Loud game, was the best gun round team in this league.
Sorry, bro, it kills me that players in a moment like that take time to spray the ground. What, 0.32 seconds
What
left?
else are you going to do? Nothing for you to do. You're holding down the key. But to continue the point about the gun rounds, Furia right now is struggling so much against EG, who prior to this was the worst gun round team in the league. What a shift. And I think you're seeing both sides, EG being much better than the prior weeks and Furia being worse. And you see it in the coordination.
Just so night and day. For both squads, as you were just saying.
In this game, they've won only the Thrifty, the Pistol, and I think they got ecoed, right? By the Boostio 4K.
Mm-hmm.
So one gun round.
Oh,
He has an op in this position again. Like, what do you do?
good thing he has getaway.
But they've got KJ ult now. It's going to be locked down underneath. There's no way to break that. Actually, Khalil has his ult.
Fury's playing really far off, too. That Rolling Thunder didn't hit anyone. User Orbital Strike will clear out the lockdown. DG expecting some pressure, holding the angle with the op. Joggo's right above him. The timing's not great.
Where are they looking?
There.
Does he double dip? Does he continue to swing? Yes, he does. Off of the flash. The flash was gorgeous. Jogamo with the second. Now TCK and Mazine, the only two that remain, and there's just one Phantom left now. I mean, EG are running away with this thing, man.
They really are. Furia,
Oh dear.
do not look like they have a hope in the world on this map. And we start to get some more of the traditional Neon comp ideas on this map. When it comes to the attack side, that's definitely where you can get more value. You're seeing Digizin continuously struggle to find value with the op. And this is what I was talking about, that comp ult. He's all the way back in tree. And look how much util's coming in there. Giacomo's able to peek there because of Ethan's flash. It's well coordinated here.
They even had an aftershock too, a little bit beneath it. It was very well done.
That's a pocket that's impossible to clear.
I'll find them.
From the top, you have to look so far down.
The one silver lining, if you are a Furia fan, is that You mentioned the attack side Neon, how it should be technically stronger. We also saw in Ascent, DG is just a player of two halves, right? He was so much stronger in the second half, so maybe Hopium, I don't know.
Finished.
Yeah, it might be Hopium, actually. Oh.
And this round right here, obviously the force is on for Furia. QCK with just the Ops, the only real weapon. Khalil with the Vandal too. But the Sova, darts, and Halls, they just walk up. Now they have the site, they play this close plan.
One enemy remaining.
This,
Second?
yeah. Really feels like this should not have gone this way at all. The QCK, who was quiet for a long time, closes out the half with 3.
Look at that smoke on top as well from Khalil on top of the site. That's not only serving as a one-way, but also blocking the entire top site there. So QCK is able to go have free reign when it comes to fighting with the Op.
Switching sides.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at that one more time because QCK was clinical with that thing, man.
Yeah, we got to see these kills.
There's that one way that you were just mentioning. So pretty. So pretty. And you mentioned the force was on, right? They needed to convert on that, and it was partially off of the stingers that they had purchased. And
Not a gun round again, though.
Yeah, not robbing. Yeah, robbing the op away, but they seem to be consistent in that. We're going to throw it down to Smix, who's standing by in the watch party pods.
Thank you very much, Doug and Bala, sitting here at the watch party station with K-pop artist Jay, also an amazing Twitch streamer, as well as the amazing musician who brought us the amazing track Visions earlier this year in January.
Hey.
Jay, I've heard you popping off commentating over
They're
there,
gracing
working
A-main
so
with the
hard.
Skyfall. But anyway, thank you so much for having me. It's actually a
No.
pleasure to be here, especially with my chat. It's kind of interesting just being here, like on site.
For sure, for sure. I've been hearing you just popping off. What has it been like to be here at the Riot Games Arena with the chat that you normally have a more intimate interaction with, but this time around having the crowd around you as well?
Well, chat hates me, so it's usually not intimate. But I think the main factor here is that my chat and I kind of get to enjoy all the commentary, especially this live energy. It's just amazing to be in the room. Can I get a yeah? It's been nice.
I definitely saw you popping off in that first series with 100 Thieves as well. I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of times your arms were up in the air. How'd you like that first match?
I mean, I don't know if you see my chest, but I may be a little bit biased. I may have some friends on 100T, so I kind of automatically have to root for them. But overall, it was a great series. Crew won the game. It was definitely what do you call it? I'm lost for words right now. I need
Comeback?
a great
100
comeback.
Thieves? Yes.
Thank you.
No, it was definitely an amazing comeback. I'm sure if you were a 100 Thieves fan, your heart was just in your chest. Well, of course the heart is in your chest, but heart was in your throat cheering for 100
Yes.
Thieves when they were down at first.
Yeah, kind of. But it's like more like my friends are on 100 Thieves, so like I'm obligated more than. Never mind.
Okay,
It's
okay. Last question. Now we're seeing this very intense series between Furia and Evil Geniuses. We saw a very
Yes.
intense first map. How do you think this one's gonna go?
My chat and I have been discussing this for this whole half, and it's just been going so back and forth. But I think we've come to the consensus that it may be a 1-1 and might go to a tiebreaker, hoping for it.
I think if we get to a third map, a lot of fans would be very happy about that for now. Thank you very much, Jay, for taking the time. Doug and Bala, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sue. Yeah, dude, Visions is a bop, by the way. I mean, that song is constantly on repeat. Love to have him in the studio, playing up to the crowd, too. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. 8-4 half, 8-4 lead for EG. Now Fury on the attacking side. Where's DG? Is he going to be able to come online on this Neon?
Yeah, you're looking at a lot of these executes with the wall, which he has not caught in this round specifically. And look to cover up and allow for quick rotates. He's going to go fast in this B site, though. And against the KJ Yuto, he's actually passive. Lucio hasn't popped.
He doesn't continue to scale up. Look at him. He's taking some space, and now he's tucking, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Lucio's got a shorty.
Yeah, and he's got a whole lot of people around him, too. You're not going to kill him from that far away, man. Oh, that works. No way. Okay, all good. You see him smiling about it, too. He knew what he was doing. Giving the people what they want. EG with a big numbers advantage here, but Fury managed to get the spike down to 4v2, and a couple of members are weak here. This is not a done deal. This is far from over.
Player standing.
I thought Mazine was going to be able to make a play there. Just took too long.
Love explosions.
A dart from Calm finding the one player, Mazin, who could have had something to do. You said it. He had a chance at getting 2 on the flank there. Timing doesn't quite work out for him, and EG now, they have a massive chance of closing out this game very quickly. Given the pistol, a lot of sheriffs coming in because of the spike plant. They have the money for it. Furia.
Let's see what they choose to do here. One Bulldog. Yeah, just one Bulldog on the side of EG. See that early nade from Dragamo waiting to spot someone. There it is. Confirmed. You imagine there's a setup here off the fault line. Oh, it's a shock dart into the mix too. You can see what they want to do. Play around Ethan's fault line and then perhaps drop a nade, perhaps drop a shock dart, but leave a brutal trap.
The CG team has really bought into the ideas and game plan that these gimmick ideas come from, right? The Sova's really committing to getting that shock dart down with the fault line, making it an actual threat. And that wasn't there fully in the past.
Do they know MW's here? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. MW gets cleared up, spam through the box. Spike's starting to rotate over towards B, though. Looks like it's going to be approached from 2 sides. QCK the first to swing out. Position spotted. There are just so many things you have to deal with. You saw it here if you were QCK. Peeks out, then has to turn around, make sure there's no pressuring around, and there is.
2 players coming, or 3 players coming from tree.
There's a lot. There's a whole lot.
This nade could land on dice. That could be huge.
He dinked another, if I'm not mistaken, or dealt some serious damage. Either way, he falls to trade through. As there's just 2 members tucked in tower.
Just relying on the gunfights in the final moments there, but I'll take that if I'm Furia. You got 2 orbs towards the ults. You got the spike down as well. So economically, you're not going to be hurting. In fact, this is going to be a really good attempt for them. And good chances for the anti-bonus. But you are looking at that scoreline and wondering when the streak is going to come. And for me, you've got to start pivoting in the mid-round and finding kills off the rotation. Get some drop control. And Digizen's positioned in that area.
Spike not even in tow right now for Furia. We saw this in the previous round. They left it back in spawn, and then there was a rotate from the southern side over Crashies that they picked it up on, and then went for the hit.
Well, something... QCK gets flashed off to the south side.
And he swings back into it.
Yeah.
Launching smoke.
Something I'm looking at right now, Digizen took a lot of drop control, but he actually doesn't have his fast lane, his wall. So the pivots that I'm talking about are not possible. They've got to rely on Khalil smokes, and the strengths of these Neon comps is those fast pivots.
Just when you think you have a read on where the other team is, they just appear on the opposite side of the map. You're right. Quiet once again across the map as you see the rotation back towards B. DG's in with no wall, as you mentioned.
Lucio's in a tough spot right now. Demon 1 is the only one who can help him. Ethan's coming on the flank, though, and that saves it.
Yep. Well, it should. In theory, it should save it. But Khalil, DG's still around. They have weapons, too. Shock dart hurts a little bit. The molly to buy some time for him to try to plant it. It has to reposition with 12 seconds left. He finds just enough breathing room to get it down.
And they know where Calm darted from.
Oh, he's got it to 1. Oh, he has to reload. DG on the tap, Calm on the swing! And the 4K for DG!
That was almost him losing that opportunity. It was such a good delay from EG. And Calm, unfortunately, was just behind the smoke. If he read that, he could have spammed that spike down too, with the aftershock putting him in a spammable position. Either way, DG finally there. A massive round 4K on the anti-bonus. And look at EG's economy. They've actually been dropped to just stingers and light armor.
To the Guardian and Demon One hands, who's had a quiet game so far. There's the pace that we're used to seeing. They want to go fast, and Drogma's just on the other side. Very well done. A good satchel the first, the second, but it doesn't matter. Merely delaying the inevitable, but Busio and Ethan get through. And you've got Busio on the other side once again. Finally dealt with. We're just pushing them. And that was a brawl. Calm once again left in a 1vx. This time no heroics.
Calm going for the orb there instead of actually pushing the players who were still challenging Ethan. Ethan with the crazy random ults. Digizin thought for sure that he was taking halls, that they had full control. But there's the moment. MW brings the round back. Good attempt from EG, but not quite enough.
They
Punish Fury for Calm. Orbital Strike for Khalil. And a Prowler for Fury to attempt to clear halls. Where is this start going? Opposite side of the map.
targets destroyed.
You can see what the setup was there for. You see how QCK was rotating to the northern side? The dart should try to catch him. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Now Hunter Fury, here's Demon waiting on the other side of the smoke. And Busio strikes at just the right time. EG were waiting patiently across so many different instances to get kills, and their timing's just flawless.
One enemy remains.
So well done.
Talk about timing, but also talk about Furia there. Digizin, the pace that he's trying to play at so many of these rounds. Hate to keep bringing the conversation back to him, but he's leaving so many gaps that his teammates in the time that he's ahead of them have to try to fill, and it's unfortunately super chaotic for them once they make it there. The executes are clearly not as practiced here from Furia compared to some of their other maps, and EG have made a great decision to come to Fracture.
Just a couple of rounds away from pushing us to the third map. But the job is not done yet.
Coming through.
This is the vintage hit that we haven't really seen. Slightly different flavor, but you get the idea. But it was a kill trap setup.
Look at this. This is what we're talking about. The Sentinels counter the Neon. This is why this pick is not as relevant anymore. And Furia have no clue on how to use an MW on the flank, though. Calm, the drone is way too late in that situation. How is he alive?
How on earth?
This is a great lockdown. They don't have tools to break it. They're trying to chase.
Look at the nightfall. Busio on the swing. Can't hear a thing, but he gets the kills anyway. 4 on the round.
Or is Mazin? Z-Gen.
Yep. Unlucky. Had a shot at the ace, but Mazin placed spoiler.
Again, such a beautiful round from EG on the retake. Not even concerned about the lockdown. That's not something you see very often. They traded off lockdown and ult on the other side.
Match point.
And they're actually able to push into tree and negate
Face your
that
fear.
idea entirely right here. Busio's just ahead of it. They don't even care
One
anymore.
enemy
If they get
remaining.
these kills, the round's over. Such a good call. And you could tell as well, they're familiar with that style of play given how they were doing on the attack side, just constantly holding tree control and playing post-plant from there. The fact that Digizin gets melted there instantly is something that is crazy to see. Furia has not considered those nanos.
See the setup once again. Is there a dart over the top as well?
Off your feet!
Really cool setup towards the southern side from the defense, but attack is all going B.
He just pushed all the way Canteen and took Calm out. Again, this fight on the flank.
Traded a little 1-for-1. Believe that was, yeah, the only Bulldog on the side of Furia. You see their buy, it's hobbled together. Oh, didn't deny it.
Spike down B.
We can talk about that jump later.
Satchel out.
Just a couple of weapons left for Fury. They're not great.
And they might actually, I mean, Ichi's gonna get the spike.
Yeah, bro, they can't get anywhere near it.
Demon once pushed up Canteen, and Giacomo might have the opportunity to push. QCK.
Why is your crosshair in the ground, my friend? Getting some info of where they are. Giacomo on the swing, and it's fallen down to 1. A Demon in that. 1 point away from Orbital Strike. He's got the stimmy, but that's all it is. Info on where the first is. Repositioning for the second. Lands a shot. A 1v1 to put them away. QCK, 23 HP in. There's just the Guardian, and the shot lands.
An attempt at a 1v2 to close out the game. And that would have been brutal for Furia to try to withstand going into the final map. That's something I was looking at. It's how big is this gap going to be when we end this map, if there will be a gap at all, or we go to overtime again. Furia have 5 more chances at it. And they have broken the economy for Evil Geniuses. But theirs is also so scattered.
Once again, fast from DG.
This time he's not overcommitting past the space, so he's giving his teammates time to stay with him.
So
the spacing is great.
Very well said. DG's flank, though, could be problematic. Look at that. They've sent 3 on the southern side, pinching into halls. Mazine ready for it. He's wide to it, but he's so freaking loud, and there are so many members there. Expecting Khalil as well. The flash is so good. DG's the only one on the side. He's going to have to dance around this Orbital Strike. 2 members, a high-low over torch drop, and it's not going to be able to hold. It is not going to hold at all. We're going the distance. We're going to Haven.
Defenders win.
EG absolutely slaughter Furia on this map. The scoreline might have been close towards the end, but that was a Furia who looked like they had no plan on how to actually implement that Neon in this day and age, that they were not practiced in those executes. And EG continued to get better on that Sova composition on Fracture. It's not just a gimmick. We say that a lot with their comps because they're off meta, but not because they're not actually able to be optimal. That was a solid phase from EG once again. And they take us to map 3.
They've so many times, EG, you know, even go back to previous rosters and you think about how they've attempted to pioneer innovation. I think about the spike plan on Icebox and the spam through tube that drove everyone wild. And now you're seeing it in a slightly different orientation, but you're seeing it with the Sova on Fracture, things that you don't commonly see. And they're just they're finding a way to make it work, Bala.
Yeah, things like this as well, combinations with everything. And it feels like every player. It's more like what we saw last year from Evil Geniuses, where everybody's buying in, where you're looking for everybody to find value in whatever compositions you're running. It's so solid from EG, and it looked like that on Ascent too. Don't get me wrong, it's not just this Fracture, it's a whole new face.
They seem to have caught their stride at just the right time as they take down Furia map 2. Haven on the other side. Stay tuned, we will be right back.